So in 3, 2, 1, welcome everyone to CBC Comics, the weekly comic book show, because it's now weekly again. For the channel, as always, you can find me on Twitter at Mitch692. You can Google the channel and follow us everywhere, or like us everywhere, or subscribe everywhere. Maybe soon even join us in one place, because YouTube might have finally pulled their finger out for something. We shall wait and see on that one. But of course, once again, I'm joined by Sean.
Hello, you can follow me at SeanCindio01 on Twitter, and also look for me on Instagram. I do a lot of postings there too.
Hey.
I finally got it smoothly done.
It's no longer follow me on Twitter and follow me.
Yeah, or Google me.
You can be forgiven for the Google one, because it's like, and Google us at Comic Book Cast. No?
I just kind of scared when people Google me, man.
It's like, oh, it's that Sean.
Yeah. I think you've already Googled me then.
But to get right into this, what's probably going to be a really short show, I imagine. Doctor Doom is getting another comic book series from Marvel. They announced it, I think it was at Comic-Con, but you know, it's kind of like it's a dead week after the Comic-Con, so there's going to be no news. And it's like, oh hey, I missed something, so let's just go back and talk about that. But yeah, we're getting another Doctor Doom run.
Does that surprise you? Like,
a little bit.
Really?
But at the same time, it's kind of like, no.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I haven't read the Suicide Storm one, but people keep saying it's not as good as it's supposed to. They think it is, but
the new is it Mark Waid doing that Suicide Storm run? Yeah. I've heard really good things about that, to be fair.
I've heard mixed things, but like I think the Doctor Doom thing is like kind of like a pretty cool idea, because like there's not many villains that have or I shouldn't say villain, but like
he's just Doom. He's just Doom.
Yeah, there hasn't been just a Doom.
Yeah. But it's Christopher Cantwell who's going to be doing the writing, and Salvador LaRocca, who did Invincible Iron Man and Star Wars. So it's a very decent artist. I don't know if I'm familiar with Cantwell's stuff.
No, I'm not familiar with
that either. Did Halt and Catch Fire. So if anyone knows those two or refer those two, then yeah.
It's a good show.
Mm-hmm. New series will seek to redefine the beloved Fantastic Four villain, as Victor Von Doom finds himself left without his traditional support structure. An army of obedient robots, a loving kingdom, and a brotherhood of fellow villains. Really? he has a loving brotherhood of fellow villains?
That's a very, very interesting way of putting it.
Really?
Sounds like a sitcom to me.
When he's accused of being responsible for an act of mass terrorism that leaves thousands dead after a period attempting to be a hero in the absence of Tony Stark, could this latest shock be the event that would change Doom's life for good? I mean,
it sounds like the cookie cutter,
I would say it sounds like a weird timing, because he's kind of, unless this is in the bit between where he was Infamous Iron Man and the Fantastic Four run, that's cool. But even then, it's like he didn't exactly have a brotherhood of fellow villains behind him, because they went after him at that point. So
I think that's the most interesting part about it, because it's just every time you've said that so far, I just kind of picture that's a sitcom setup, man. It's like a Full House, with Doctor Doom.
He just has that little AA meeting. My
support. I'm always misunderstood.
But it doesn't feel canon. If that's the case, it's really strange. Though. I imagine it will be, because Marvel doesn't really tend to do out of canon stuff. But
yeah. I mean, it sounds like to me that he basically stripping them of everything, and
kind of, yeah. I suppose that's the whole reinvention angle, isn't it?
So he's not going to have a country or Doom bots, and he's just going to be sitting in a tin can.
See that? Why isn't this in the in Slot's Fantastic Four book? Because you can kind of say, have you been reading his run so far?
I've read the first couple issues so far, but I know.
There's a whole bit with Doom and Galactus, and Doom trying to siphon off Galactus' power to make sustainable energy sort of thing. It was really well. It was really crazy. He essentially slapped Galactus on the mountain. It's and it all kind of backfired on him. It's just why didn't you use that as that? And it's I mean, to be fair, they could use that as the instant for it, but it's just this. It feels like this should have stemmed from that.
Yeah.
And you could have done it that way, but
yeah, it sounds like they haven't like set up the series. They should have set up in the series in the Fantastic Four run and kind of to get people used to that fact of what's going to happen to him.
So I'll check it out because it's kind of I just want to know what's happening now. So it's like, well, you got my interest, maybe not for the right reason, but you have my interest anyway. So
homeless Doctor Doom. Okay, that sounds interesting.
I mean, yeah.
I think I've seen him in like Times Square before. Maybe he's panhandling.
God help anyone.
Poor Doom.
Wearing a metal mask in the summer in New York. Ooh,
yes, it gets stinky in there for sure.
It's very sweaty. But no, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Doom is a pretty interesting character to begin with. So, like, because he's like ambiguous with his like, if he's a good guy or a bad guy, it's always kind of in between, you know. And like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot you could do with the character.
So, have they ever done a book from like not his perspective, but his side's perspective? Like, just paint him as the hero.
I don't think they have. Maybe Secret Wars, but that's kind of.
I mean, I suppose, but even then, like the minute you had Battleworld, people are like, "No, fuck
he's
him."
He's a bad guy.
We're trying, like, let's just try and usurp, like, the God King Doom. But it's just like,
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know the writer, but the artist I like pretty well. So I mean.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they changed up the look of the character, or did you think you just go classic?
I think they're gonna stick to classic stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a new look for Doom. Like, I like Doom's classic look, but I always look at it going like, you could use something different.
Yeah, you could take the skirt off and a big old. I always like the infamous Iron Man Doom.
I really like the infamous Iron Man, but it's just kind of like that was just a repaint of the Iron Man armor. It's just like, no. It always felt like a kit bash. Like, let's put this cape on Iron Man.
Yeah, like even like when they did that whole Hero Was Reborn, like Jim Lee had a chance to kind of like redesign the character, but he kind of stuck with the old,
This is the first and only time you'll hear Heroes Reborn on this channel.
Yeah, in a positive way.
we will never speak of it again.
It's not in canon.
I mean, unfortunately, it is in canon,
but not in this show.
No. We do not recognize Heroes Reborn.
We strike it from the record.
Just like,
and it's because of the Rob Liefeld and making Cap look like a man woman. Top heavy. Again, that's a different tangent altogether. It's human anatomy and Rob Liefeld don't go hand in hand for sure.
He doesn't got foot and foot either.
Yeah. He's like a bobblehead, basically.
Just a Funko Pop.
Or a Funko Pop, yes.
Got really big titties, just like
huge heads and very tiny feet.
No wonder people like them. They're Rob Liefeld of the 2010s.
Yeah, that's not a good comparison. If someone compares themselves, like another person, to like Rob Liefeld, that's a sign to change jobs completely, because it's not working out for you, man.
But we've gotten the Rob Liefeld talk again, which is always a time to move on. So, going from a bit of interesting news to a bit of sad news, especially for me. Jim Zub did announce, I think it was Wednesday, maybe Thursday, that Champions is going to come to a close at issue 10. It's not the end for the characters. Like, obviously, you got Saladin and Med on Miles, and you got, I can't think of it. Saladin and Med again on Kamala. I don't know how I actually forgot he's writing both. So at least those two are going. You still got, I legitimately can't remember the woman's name who's writing Riri Williams, but I imagine she's safe at least until issue 10 or 12. That seems to be the normal one.
Yeah, 440 on the corner for the Champions as this incarnation. But do you think this stems from the possible reincarnation of the Ultimates universe? Because they definitely.
I really hope not. I'll be mad if they going, you know what, we're gonna get rid of the Champions of the Ultimate Universe. Like, no. Eve Ewing, thank you, chat. Thank you. Yeah. Eve Ewing's doing very
Thank you.
I don't know. I honestly I can't say what this is.
I mean, like, it's so weird nowadays in comics because like it's like titles get canceled like fairly early. You know, like,
and it's not like Champion's only gonna have a 10-issue run. It's had a fairly decent run. It's been around for a couple of years at this point. So it's been decent for at least a couple of years of that with Zub's run. I think it was Wade before. It's kind of like, it was okay. It wasn't great. But
do you think that the Champions, like the team, is like done, or do you think they're just gonna like?
I don't know because they're ending Zub's run early because Zub has said that there was a lot more he wanted to do, so he's had to cut it short. I can see them naturally having a way for them to like disband them. Because they were kind of in that like weird limbo bit, where Miles and Cho had that weird thing with Mephisto, and then Carter might have found out she can't trust him, and it's just like she's doing her own thing, they're doing their own thing. Champions aren't champions right now, so
that's the thing with Cho and Miles. That's the thing that's thrown me off completely.
Yeah,
like I don't know, man. It's sad to see that this incarnation is going to be gone.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, hopefully, it's like the supporting cast, not the last few events.
Oh no, yeah, they're not killing everybody off.
Obviously, I doubt they're going to get rid of Viv because Viv's kind of.
I mean,
maybe.
Well,
maybe
I mean,
soon.
like maybe, yeah.
No.
I mean, like I mean, they're not killing any of the characters off. I don't think so.
Oh no. Well,
so it's like
I say yet. That it's Jim Zub, and Jim Zub hates everyone. They could very well kill off someone. He's no Donny Cates, but he was not afraid to come in here and go, "Hey, you like Sam? Bang!" You go.
Donny Cates has a lot of blood on his hands. That's for sure.
Apparently, he washes the hands in the blood as well, so he just gets worse.
Double blood hands. Yeah, I mean it's a sad thing to see the incarnation go. Do you think it's because of low sales or something, or you just think?
See, I don't know because I imagine Champions does really well in digital because all the teen like books do well in digital.
Yeah.
Especially Kamala. Like Kamala's always said to be like this digital darling. Like imagine Mara was the same way, but a bit more half and half, I imagine. So it's kind of like it's hard to see it not doing well, but I haven't looked at sales charts for ages, so I got no idea how it's doing. Like I can't imagine it was doing the best of numbers at Marvel. It's no Incredible Hulk or Immortal Hulk because somehow that's the top book at the minute. But
that's crazy.
I say somehow.
I mean, I remember a time when this Champions like incarnation of the group like debuted, and it was like the hottest thing ever, man. And now it's just like
it's weird because it's better now than it ever was. Like, I guess it's so much like they feel like kids now. They don't feel like adults trying to be kids. It's just like
it's sad to see. Like
I just feel bad that we let Zub down. It's just like he's like the most wholesome creator you could follow on Twitter. It's like Zub, no, I'm sorry.
Send your support to Zub, man. Like, Twitter support.
He's a third of the reason why we get like No Surrender and No Road Home, and like we can't even support one book. Like,
shame on us, man.
Like,
we should be held our heads down low for that, man.
What I do, my head is very hanging. It's like,
So I mean, what do you think they do with the characters? I think they just split them up somewhere, and like, because.
I mean, it depends on what issue 10's like, I suppose.
They kill everybody off and we know the answer.
It's like, is Sam going to get the Black Nova helmet back before it's cancelled? Find out. I don't know. I can't. I'm not entirely sure what issue we're on. I know I read the last one, but I can't remember what it was. So, I imagine they do split them up. It's kind of like the natural point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope it's not the last one.
Hopefully it doesn't kill them off, and then another year before you see anybody.
Like, because Zub did say there's big plans for like the teenage, so unless they're kind of going like, "Hey, Young Avengers 2020," and they just all merge them into one, and that's the why. I doubt it's the case.
I think we would have heard something by now if that was the case. Like,
Not necessarily, because the solicitations are only up to October. So DC went to November, but like October's the month. But
I can't look at the solicitation because someone ripped it up in 6 different pieces. So.
yeah, well, that's always the way. That's
how he reads things, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
In pieces.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the characters like are popular enough that they kind of like, because like I mean honestly, I don't know, like if Sam does get his helmet back, maybe he could go to the Guardians.
I mean, yeah, he could, but then again, that's kind of like putting him on the chopping block to die.
Kind of put him on a bullseye.
Can we not?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, that's setting him up to fail for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell you. Like it's hard to tell if they like Ruby. I'm sure like she still has a book out, right? Like
yeah.
So that's good. Like she's not dead.
Not yet.
Not yet.
If champions can go, then I don't know. Ruby always kind of seem to be like the least liked out of all of them. Yeah. People hate Ruby.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. I thought everybody. Like, this is how like in touch I am with the comic community. Is like.
I mean, like it's a combination of like she's an awful character. Part of it, they called her Iron Man. And it's like, how can you have this little black girl be Iron Man? It's kind of okay. It's like, I understand why you're mad.
It's the toxic.
I don't understand it. But I know what you're trying to say, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure those fans, when she gets a movie out or something like that, people have more to bitch about and complain about.
Well, I mean, we've gone back to 2014 when Jane Foster was Thor with the movies now, and people seem to be really small brain memories fan forgetting what happened then. It's happening now, so it's something.
Shame on us for our comic fans, like kind of
not saying. We forgot the past, and in 6 years we're repeating it. So
it's like we go backwards and like everything. I don't know. It's so crazy.
It's weird. But that's going to bring us into the news. I told you it was going to be short, and short indeed it was. I mean, we got nearly 20 minutes out of it.
Emmanuel Lewis short, for sure.
So to move on to the comics of the week, the two biggest ones that I read anyway were Valkyrie #1, which. Have you read this one?
I have not yet. I got it. I haven't checked it out yet.
So really, it very much feels like a Wonder Woman issue.
Yeah.
Very Wonder Woman vibes. Bullseye's in it. Spoilers. I would say spoilers. They try and make it like a massive reveal, but it's like you showed his gloves at the start. Like, it's kind of obvious. No, fair enough. It's all revolving around like Dragonfang. Like there's a heist on Asgardian's weapons and like. A team of the wannabe villains stole Asgardian tech and all the stuff in War of the Realms. It's kind of like that Marvel one-shot after Avengers with Phil Coulson and picking up all the bits from the Battle of New York. It's kind of like that, and a bit with like and it's kind of like, hey, we're just gonna nick all this stuff and do whatever with it. Like obviously there's a mix of like Jane learning about what Valkyrie, like what it means to be Valkyrie, and she goes to see Brindlehyde in Valhalla. She's like, Thor was a role, Valkyrie's a job, and it's just like everyone's been saying that line. It's a nice line and a way to differentiate two things. So it's a really good starting point. Really good starting point.
Yeah, I definitely want to read it. I love the design of the character now too.
So. Oh, she looks fantastic. They're still not really explaining this all weapon. It's like
looks crazy, man.
Just kind of like she now has this thing from a hammer, and it turned gold somehow, and it can now do everything.
It can anything, yeah.
It's literally everything.
It's a Deus Machina of weapons, right?
It's like, she wants wings. Here, I'm wings. Oh, you want a mace? I'm a mace. You want a shield? I'm a shield.
It reminds you of like a Green Lantern, like the King.
Kind of. They present the idea. Like obviously, like when she was Thor, like it was, she transformed into Thor, and it was still kind of Jane, and she's back like an Asgardian. Here she's still Jane Foster, but she doesn't know if the weapon's influencing her in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting direction they're taking for it. I wonder if they're actually going to keep Jane as Valkyrie or a Valkyrie permanently, or if it's just going to be a semi-permanent thing like Thor. But
I think. I mean, in my opinion, I think they're gonna keep her around as Valkyrie for a while.
I hope so. It's like, especially with like Love and Thunder, like the whole Thor being announced with that. It's like you kind of want Jane in a role like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting progression of the character. I mean, like she, she went from Thor to like Valkyrie. I think the Valkyrie thing is more important than her being like Thor.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as they say, Thor's a role. This is a job. The Valkyries have always been underappreciated. Like, hey, no, we have the hardest job you could ever possibly want.
We do more than what they do. Like a police force, basically.
So there can be a world without Thor. There can't be a world without a Valkyrie. Someone has to be a Valkyrie.
Somebody has to defend, that the realm.
So someone's got to take you to the afterlife.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're all just
stuck on Earth, man. That's
causing havoc.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend Valkyrie #1 or Valkyrie Jane Foster or Jane Foster Valkyrie, whatever you want
to. Yeah, it's because
it's a very, very good read. Art's fantastic as well. But we're going to get into what I imagine is going to be the meat and bones of this show, because there's a lot to talk about. Yeah. There's a tiny little indie book by a tiny little indie writer. I think his name's Joe Hickman.
Yes, that's what I thought. Jane.
He's released a book called House of X. This is a little thing, but yeah. So Jonathan Hickman's House of X. It's a lot. It's a lot. Interesting is a very good word for it. There's definitely a lot. If you've read everything Hickman's done for Marvel, you get a lot out of this.
Yeah.
Like in his little I'm a graphic designer is my passion.
I was gonna say there's a lot of graphs in this video.
I really hope it's Hickman doing those and no one else, because they're fantastic.
Yeah,
it's in every Hickman book. Like every Hickman book has the same sort of thing. It's just like give me more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with that, because it's like so much information.
I say that the other day, he literally gives you like a movie's worth just as like a little throwaway world building bit. Like it will get paid off eventually, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
He mentions Soul's Anvil, which I think it was remade in his Fantastic Four run. That's destroyed now, but hey, he still mentioned it, so maybe that's gonna come back. Who knows?
This first issue was it's hard to read a Hickman anything Hickman for the first issue, because it's like you don't know, you have sometimes you can read a comic like a #1 from a writer, and then you kind of get where they're going with it, at least not
with Hickman.
No, you have zero clue, and you're reading this, and you're like, huh? You kind of have to read it 2 or 3 times to kind of get anything.
I know. I've read it 3 times at this point. I'm just I need to make sure I know.
There's a pretty good callbacks from Giant Size X-Men #1.
Oh yeah. There's a ton of stuff.
It's like almost a Quentin Tarantino type movie.
It's probably not a bad way to describe it, actually. He changes so much about the X-Men as well. Yeah. It's you thought you knew what an Omega level mutant was. Well,
here's a graph to show you.
It's right. There's no more Omega level mutants. That concept is done. There are Omega level powers. Jean Grey is an Omega level telepath.
Yeah.
In
the Iceman.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find the other page. I know there's people with 2 different powers on it, and he's no, it's this power is the limitless one, or what we think is limitless. The other ones is kind of average.
Yeah,
it does the thing.
I mean, like, it's weird to see like people like Elixir on here, and like I never really like thought he was like had a mega level power, but like like.
Well, and that's another thing as well. Like Magneto was never an Omega level mutant. He
Yeah,
was always like an Apex level mutant.
Until now.
And now Jonathan Hickman's like, you know what? I really like Magneto. He's now a mega level. Which, to be fair, he should have always been. You can control the magnetic field of a planet.
True.
Like, you're not really limited to anything. You could go anywhere in the galaxy and still do that. Like,
you know what the most intriguing one is Jamie Braddock. Did you see what
but
the
at the same time, it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like Monarch. I kind of like. I looked at that. I'm like, what does that mean? Does it mean he's a king? I mean, so I guess. I mean, looking at his power base, it's kind of like I guess it would be kind of like an Omega power level.
I'm not sure if Braddock was one before, but it kind of feels like since Wanda's not a mutant anymore, it's just like, let's put a reality warper on there. We have Jamie Braddock, let's just put him on there.
And like, looking at like, I mean, I'm looking at the graph, like it just says like the alliances.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The AUKUS. Is that what it is? Yeah. That I don't know if AUKUS is a thing or if he's made it up.
He probably made it up.
Because it's kind of like it's one of those where it's like there's so many like different things involved in it, and it's like you could very well have a secret organization running the secret organizations, or the secret organizations that are involved in this one secret organization.
I was gonna say like. There's everybody from AIM, and it's like
there's AIM, the sword, the shield, there's Alpha, there's everyone.
It's like everywhere, man. Like, and I love it.
Isn't the Hydra involved in it? Yeah, Hydra's involved in it. Yeah, and people that are long forgotten, Hammer and Armor. Like, where have they been? Nowhere. Right? They're now suddenly back in House of X. Like, it's pretty cool.
So like, and also, I mean, I love him. Like the visuals, like the pods, like the
oh, see now that's where like that's where is the real talking point. Are these the X-Men now?
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking. I was like, because they're coming out of like these pods, like they're dressed as like the older versions of it, and like
Cyclops is a new costume. He's never had that costume before. No, is that something intentional to throw people off?
Yeah.
I think Grey is in the Marvel Girl uniform, and she's going by Marvel Girl.
And so is Wolverine.
And Wolverine, he's in the old yellow and brown, yeah. And have we ever seen Wolverine happy with kids before?
I was gonna say, I don't think he's ever been drawn with smiles before.
Like it, I don't know if it actually is the case or not, but a lot of people I've seen talk about this have said something feels a bit sinister about it.
Yeah.
Something sinister. Something sinister is going on. Not necessarily like Nathaniel Essex, but something sinister is going on.
So I'm taking it like the guy in the helmet is Xavier, right?
I think that's what we're meant to think. I don't know if it'd be too easy to say it's not Xavier.
I mean, like, would it be interesting to make Xavier like the bad guy? Because he's like.
I think that's what he's gonna do.
I think it's genius.
I don't know. Hickman has a thing for people in skinny outfits and a big helmet. He didn't necessarily make the Maker, but he made the Maker what he is. Yeah. So you can kind of say he made it. Babylon and East of West has the exact same look. So it's a constant in Hickman's stuff.
Yeah.
And they're always, it's either they're always kind of the same thing. Babylon's supposed to be Babylon, paradise and all that. The Maker wanted paradise, and he was like, enough. We're gonna force everyone to this point, and it's very similar to what quotation marks I'm going to be using for this Xavier's doing. In the span of what it says 2 years. I'm going to try and find the page. It's like a 2-year thing Xavier's been doing.
Yeah.
Where is that page?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh no, it's what. Yeah, 2 years ago, observation begins. 1 year ago, population alert. the X gene activation has spiked, yada yada yada. 6 months ago, financial alert. I think that's when Xavier starts making the drugs and everything from Krakoa. Which Krakoa, like, what a callback! It's like, hey, this like living plant guy is he's now our home.
Do you remember something from like 1975 or 80? Here it is again. It's crazy, man. It's like such an obscure character. It hasn't really been brought up. He's been brought up every once in a while, but nothing like significant. But like
I don't think I've seen Krakoa in years.
Like reprints, you know, like these. But it's very. I think it's very interesting, man. Like. I think this has like been probably. I think Hickman's probably gonna be the best thing for this series. Like, I think they should have did this long ago. Like,
oh, absolutely. But I'm 100% on board if this is the MCU direction as well.
Oh yeah.
No, you know, it's different. I said it on Twitter yesterday. Like, it's different for the X-Men, but at the same time, it's kind of been there, done that. Like, Wakanda, we're gonna have the same thing with Eternals.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be the same thing with Atlantis if we ever do Namor. So it's kind of like an eh. But at the same time, it's like just do it. Like, you know, it's different. It stands different from those things as well, kind of.
Yeah.
Like deeper
level.
Definitely.
Let me tell you. Like, I think Kirkman loves plants. Like, if you think.
Oh yeah. Hickman has plants in everything.
I mean, his Avenger run was like plants. There was
Avengers. It literally starts out with Ex Nihilo on Mars. And it's like, we're gonna make a garden. Cool. Like, cool. Yeah, maybe East to West Babylon is a thing with a flower with him. It's like,
I was gonna say maybe he was like a gardener before he became like a
writer. I'm pretty certain it's to do with a reference to a movie.
Oh, you mean it could be the like invasion of the pod people, or like I mean
that's definitely a reference to them.
Yeah, I mean,
like, you know, they're literally pod people, but it's, I don't know. There's a lot to go on. Like, there's the whole, you know, his Soul's hammer that Stark made in his Avengers run. You know, that's back, but it's got the Omega Sentinel head in it. So, like, is that
was that Master Mold?
That's the Omega Sentinel.
Yeah. I mean, was that him? Because I thought I'd seen another description of it. Maybe I wasn't remembering correctly.
I mean, like, I got a director's like cut of this issue, and like there's like 178 pages, so you get the entire script, all like the black and white, the colors, the all the covers. You get it's a really good cut of like $3.99. But yeah, they only say like a Mega Sentinel for that bit, so I don't know if it could be Master Mold. I don't know.
That's another. If that's the case, that's another pretty old comeback.
It's like, is that? I assume that was all Orcus and that side of things, and not like mutants. Because when I first read it, I took it that Mystique, Toad, and Sabretooth were after Data for that.
Yeah.
It's like the whole when they talk about, like, you know, Stark and Reed would leave each other's stuff so it didn't fall into someone's hands. But of course, there was that one brief period in time where they were both missing or dead, and so damage control just went, all right, we'll take it. Yes. So it's kind of like, is that what the mutants are after? Because it's got, obviously it's a Sentinel, so I assume it's that. But
I think we're gonna be talking about this for a long time.
Oh yeah,
like
there's a lot of stuff.
How long is he gonna be on the X-Men? Like,
for years. Absolutely, he's already said, like, you know, there's stuff in. Is it New Mutants he's doing the first arc for? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's already said in that, like, there's stuff in there that's going to get paid off years down the line. So
man.
I expect an Avengers style run on this one, where it's just going to go on and on and on and be the best thing in your life ever.
Yeah. I think, like, bringing him onto these, like, I think they, like, Marvel's like genius for like doing this, because like the X-Men series has been lagging for so long. It's been subpar.
And he's been so vocal about how bad it's been. He's like, it's just a mess. There's no continuity. It's just rehashing the same thing.
Yeah, the continuity thing doesn't bother me as much as, like, it just feels like everything is like doing the same thing over and over. Every event is the same thing. Like, just reading this issue, I'm like, this kind of like brings something new to the table, you know, like like bringing back characters like Kuroka and stuff like that. It's like, Well, you're asking me. I'm asking myself throughout the issue while reading it, and that's distracting me because I'm like, what's going on? What is this going to lead to? I'm like, I found myself asking that question to my wife, who has zero clue what I'm talking about, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what is X-Men. I'm like,
exactly. I have no idea what I'm talking about either.
It's like we're both
Help
in the
me
same
understand.
Like, yeah, like I think it's gonna be the like. Maybe this.
I'm very comfortable in saying this is going to be the definitive X-Men run.
Oh yeah, and like, because like the Grant Morrison stuff was just fucking confusing. Excuse my language, just so confusing. Like when him and Frank Quigley were doing the new X-Men stuff, it was just like really confusing. And like this is like
Grant Morrison theory, though.
Yeah, but like this is confusing in a good way, where you're like. You go back and you have to reread it and then reread it, and then like you get something new out of each time you're reading it.
Definitely.
And do you think it was strategic though, like doing this right now?
Oh, what was the whole Fox merger thing?
Yeah. I mean, like,
I don't know. Like, as kind of how they have been operating. Like, hey, this thing, the movie's coming out. Like, here's a comic for it. But at the same time, it's kind of like they're so far out. The X-Men.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I think that like this is just my thought. It's like they're just trying to like build the X-Men back up to a good status. So when they do have the movies, like it's not such a like nobody's really thinking about like what happened with the Fox stuff. They're just thinking
that's probably I can see that being the case.
I mean, that's just a thought of mine, you know. Like
I mean, like, I think. Because like they have like Cebulski as the editor-in-chief now, like he's such a massive X-Men fan. It's obvious. Yeah. He's tried to get the X-Men back to a point, and it's kind of worked before. It never really worked. You know, you got to Uncanny X-Men. It's like this is the same stuff I've been reading.
Yeah.
You know, you're literally doing Age of X-Men, and it's just Age of Apocalypse but backwards.
Yeah.
Like, not great. And it's kind of like they need to do something. It's like, you know what? The one thing you can do is get Hickman.
Yeah, I mean, like he brought the Fantastic Four, I think he elevated the Fantastic Four, the characters, because that was another one that was just lagging for so long, you know. Yeah. And then like
they were so stale in like the mid 2000s. It was
I think at that point, I think in the 2000s every comic was kind of in that position too. But like I thought, like once Hickman came on and brought that style of writing. Because I feel like the X-Men and Fantastic Four lends itself to these long form storytellings.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like Hickman kind of rewrote like the history of the Fantastic Four in a good way. Where it was just like it kind of brought it back to like that Walt Simonson era where it was just like just crazy stuff, but it's like crazy stuff for the Fantastic Four and like I don't know, man. Like I definitely think that. Doing him coming on to the X-Men definitely is a good sign that I think the sales are
definitely. And also like it's not even going to stop here because this week we have Powers of 10 and they've said like that's a 100-year look in the future.
Oh really?
So there's a lot of theories going on about what exactly is happening because I'm not entirely sure how people got to this thing, but like obviously Xavier's making mutants.
Yeah.
Right. So he's doing something. So is that connected to they also talk about the population of mutants and how they would have taken over the planet at this point if it wasn't for Genosha and other events like that.
Yeah.
So it's a case of like with the whole breeding like mutants, like they're all like really strong mutants. So are they doing like 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 to get the population back there? And it's like that would explain why the powers of 10 mutants kind of look like we know but don't know.
Yeah.
Sort of things. But I suppose we'll find out something like that on Wednesday. I don't know. It's Hickman.
I don't think I never think the first issues of his like comics ever give you any like helpful or useful information to figure out anything. Just like this is some weird stuff. Look at it, read it. You're not going to understand it all, but
and you're not meant to, like part of the fun of Hickman is you're not meant to understand it all. There obviously are going to be like payoffs down the line, but
that's what I love about it though. It's like it keeps you on your seat you know, you're wanting to read this comic every week or every other week. Like it did it for me for his Avenger run, his Fantastic Four run, and like I mean, I never
full disclosure for me, his Avengers run, it didn't grab me at the start.
Yeah.
Like the whole Ex Nihilo thing with Mars, it was a bit slow. It was slow for Hickman, and Hickman goes slow.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like, oh, come on, Hickman.
I know eventually it paid off though. Like,
oh yeah, eventually he came full circle and was just like, wow, I stuck with it. Yes.
See, that's always the key word with Hickman stuff is like it eventually. You know? Yeah. Like because you know that like somewhere down the line, everything that you read up to that point is all gonna make sense. Like you know, you're like cause some of those writers like they do all this crazy stuff and like, but it never really pays off in the end. You know, and it's just kind of they stick the landing a little too much. You know, but like with Hickman, it's kind of landed pretty much like it's got a good win ratio.
And aside from the whole they now have their own little nation and everything, I think that the most intriguing bit to me is that one interaction Scott quote Pod Summers, I'm going to call him. I'm certain they're making Xavier the 616 maker at this point. There's too much point into it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say it's where it's not him. It didn't feel like Scott. It felt a bit weird and a bit. Like Scott's cocky, like obviously, he's kind of a terrorist, but like he never felt like that. Like there's something like just the way he strutted in there. I was like, hey, tell your mutant kid Fantastic Four that he's got a family with us. Like,
do you think? But do you think that they're trying to I don't know, like get away from that character, the characterization of like his like the Avengers X-Men thing? And just
definitely, but at the same time, it just felt something. I don't know if it's a combination of just the entire goings on in the book, where it's hey, they have this. There's something dark is obviously going on here, and it's just like I don't know if it's because of that, and I'm just trying to see things, or I don't know. It's just
I really hope, and this is just like my opinion. I really hope they make Charles the main villain. Like, just straight up, because, like, I mean, he's, like, let's face it, man, like, he's kind of
he's a colossal dick.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. He is a massive dick.
In every story kind of makes it feel like he's, like, the hero, regardless of what he's done. I mean, like, all the questionable things he's done in like, the past, it's, like, it's all been, like, he's been doing it for the greater good, It's, but, like,
I honestly think that's the direction it's going to go, because just the whole Maker parallels, like he looks like the Maker now. He's doing literally what the Maker was doing in the Ultimate Universe, except for here it's more justified. It's like, no, like we've been fighting for this our entire lives. Enough is enough. We're just going to take it. Like we don't have to answer to you. This is not it's not an offer. Just accept it or don't. Like, and I think that he's an incentive sort of thing. Like you don't have to have it, but you want it.
Well, in that I think to me fits the characteristic of Xavier to a bill, regardless, because like I mean, like you say, he's a real dick. Like even in, like most of the storylines that like make him out to be the hero, he's done some really weird, messed up things. And
I mean, just with Jean Grey,
Oh, for sure.
To change your mind around, like
if he existed in the real world, I mean, that would be a Me Too movement, like straight up, straight up horror story. Like he'd be right up there with Harvey Weinstein, and
can you imagine a Me Too movement in the world with telepaths? Like, wow.
He would be a poster boy for that. I mean, it's really creepy what he's done. It's like two steps away from being like a date rapist. Like,
I mean, it's no different to like Star Fox. His power is basically rape. So,
Like that's a character I hope they completely change if they bring him into the.
Or if they don't change it, the movie, call him out on it.
Just like, hey, stop being crazy, you date rapist.
What's with your family? Like your brother?
Why is he looking at me that way?
No, there's a lot to sink your teeth in with this issue. Hence why we spoke about it for longer than the main show itself. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to the omnibus, like when it all like
that's gonna read really well.
It's gonna like without any interruptions or waits. There's just gonna be like from. I guarantee it's gonna take me like a day to read all of that.
Oh yeah. Very nice. So yeah, House of X #1. A lot of stuff is going on. It's personally, from what they've done in this issue, it's been a long time coming. It should have happened a long time ago.
For sure.
Hey, we have our own little homeland now. They have their own language. Like, that Magneto even says you can't have your own culture without your own language. And don't try and decipher it. If you're going to decipher stuff that they've said or they've shown you in the things, swap the G and the A around or the H around because Hickman got them back to front by mistake. So, heads up. If it says Gabitat, yeah, it's supposed to be Habitat.
Habitat, yeah.
Just keep that. Just like, it's Hickman, no.
It's like pygmy language, you know?
Yeah, but they haven't revealed the letters V, Y, and Z yet.
I think
we don't know if they have those letters at all, or if they haven't revealed them yet. So it's just interesting.
Like all the charts that he makes, he needs to make a language chart for that.
I mean, someone's already made a language chart, but no doubt Hicks would be like, "No, this is my one. Like, look at the graphic design. It's my passion."
Yeah. I kind of like. I'm not sure about like the Magneto costume. I never liked the white and black one all that much.
I'm half and half on it. I think when it came out originally, I wasn't a fan, but I think here it kind of suits the tone and of it. So I'm okay. It's no like 90s road costume where I'm kind of like, no, it's so dated. It's so dated.
Nobody sells bomber jackets that small now.
So, especially when it's like, humans don't wear human clothes, yet his robe wears a human jacket. Like, okay.
Her waist is about the size of like a pencil. Yeah. One thing it did do for me though, it made me reread the Maker stuff and the Fantastic Four, and I do now appreciate it more than I did before. Like
I always loved the Maker stuff. It's a very Hickman concept.
Yeah, I never really got into it, but then like the talk we had last time, and then I just started like this kind of maybe because it like you said, it really did look like Maker, like the Maker. So I started rereading that Fantastic Four run, and I was like, all right, I get it, I like it now. Yeah.
Good. Making me some love. Like, get me in the movies.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Let that be the direction for the MCU read.
I mean, that would be pretty cool though if they just went straight to that.
Oh god, if you went, if it's as long as it's not straight to the point, it's like, hey, yeah, here's Reed, he's a bad guy now.
Yeah. I mean, like not so much like straight like there, but like it takes like maybe the first movie. There's hints of him being, not as good as you think he is, and it just kind of accumulates to the third movie or something. I don't know. It would definitely translate pretty well because like that's something different that the movies need. To
I'd say there's never been a comic movie where that's happened before.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know the direction of whoever's doing it, but I think that should be a good direction of it.
I mean, I imagine at some point you're going to be able to slip something to someone somewhere. So just like slip that note in someone's pocket.
I will email. I'll do a chain email, and whoever answers me back.
I mean, I'm sure you know Feige's email.
I do. I can.
Yeah. So just
anonymously chain email everyone.
Look, give me his email, and we'll get
it. I'll forward it to you later.
Sweet. Just put it in Discord and delete it when I got it.
I'll take a picture really quickly, send it to you, and then delete it.
Excellent. So yeah, that was House of X #1. I imagine we'll talk about, no doubt, the same length of time for Powers of 10 this week or next week even. So
I'm salivating for that one. So I'm just like,
I just want to. This is the worst part about him. I just want to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And the worst part is he's come out and said, it's like, hey, you could read Powers of 10 and then House of X and then reread House of X 1 in a completely new light. I'm like, great, I'm never going to know what's going to happen. No, everything's literally going to change issue by issue.
That's what I love about him, though, man. Like it makes you come back from war, you know.
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of like, can we clone Hickman and just have Hickman everything?
We'll keep a backup just in case something happens to the original.
I mean, look after the original one. Like let him retire, let him do his thing. But like Hickman Clone 1, like put him on extra duty, like
put him on. We'll like loan him out to like WB or something like that, so they can maybe get something good.
Let's push these clones. Like, let's see how far we can push the clones.
I think we can make a franchise out of this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, give me a Hickman documentary series. I want to see how the dude ticks. Like, I could clone number 6.
We can start a little like McDonald's franchise.
Yeah. Rent Hickman out for like a 6-figure summer day. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, DC needs some good stories. So, I mean, like, why not? Like,
true. It's very true. But yeah, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. So thanks for everyone for joining, and we will catch you all next time. So, bye.
See ya.